Hello. How's everybody doing? This is a very spontaneous stream. Did not plan to stream that early, but here we are. It's probably also gonna be a bit of a shorter stream, but we'll see. Kitty is already in position. Ah, yes. So, what you can see right now on the screen is a speed paint that I made yesterday. But this is already done. We're not gonna work on this. I just had it open. I will post it later on social media. But today we're going to make a new one with clouds as the main part. And it's gonna be a different perspective than this one here, which is like more looking upwards. Next one I want to have more like a normal landscape where you actually have the horizon on the screen and stuff, you know. After all, it's getting too warm. Gotta get rid of this. I have to say, like, the gap between having to wear a lot on you in order to keep you warm and then just wearing a t-shirt is so small. Like, I have a room temperature of a bit over 20 degrees right now, and I can only do this right now with just a shirt. A few degrees lower, and that shirt and then that extra shirt that I had on would not suffice. I don't know. But anyways. So let's make a new project. There we go. This is just normal 4K resolution. I don't really care too much about the canvas size and layout. It's just, I just choose 4K and there we go. So I have my palette here, which you cannot see, but I have it here. Just for the clouds, that is. So one thing I can do is perspective ruler, and in this case, yeah, whatever. So, and you were able to see this, yes. So I have my vanishing points now. I have 3 of them and actually don't need 3, but whatever. And let's lower the horizon line. Don't want to have it right in the middle, but I want the painting mostly to be sky. And I'm not going to use those vanishing points actually, but instead what I want from this is this grid here. This grid is useful for better understanding where the how the clouds are going to be layered, because they're also following perspective after all. The clouds that are in this area are gonna appear much larger, when you will see more of the bottom of those clouds than in comparison to those that are very close to the horizon. How I'm arranging this grid right now, it doesn't really matter all that much, because again, we don't really need to draw anything in actual perspective. Like, we're not drawing any geometric shapes. I just want to have this grid. That's just the main point of this. And let's get rid of a couple of lines here and there. They're just in the way. There we go. I would say this is good enough. Now just leave this this grid open. It would be nice though. Okay, I can just move the whole thing over here. All right. Wait, what just happened? Let me actually redo this, okay? Because I think the better solution would be just to have a 1-point perspective ruler. I don't need to make this so complicated. Alright. Now let's see, how can I invert this? The grid. I'm not very familiar with this stuff. Okay, there it is. So there we go. This is much better. So we're gonna have this about right where the middle is. And so we have a convenient grid. The horizon line is over here, down here, but the grid is already stopping right there because it can only reach so far until, like, you cannot really distinguish these lines anymore, and that's why it stops right there. But that's also a good point where we would stop painting more distinguishable clouds, I would say. Alright. So, gonna start, of course, with the sky. Here's the thing. I have to turn off the function of letting the pen follow the ruler. Just broadly painting in these colors. And then smudging them together. I'm gonna turn off the grid so I have a better view of what's going on. Sleepy kitty. Kitty is sleeping. Just broadly blending these colors in together. And you see it's very streaky and not very clean yet. But then I go in with a bit of blur. And so it's getting less streaky. It's not super clean, and I could just use a gradient tool or something like that, but it doesn't need to be super clean. That's the thing. And actually, if it looks kind of like imperfect, like this here, it adds to the more paintery feel to it. It has a texture, and it's not just a perfect gradient. I'm spending a bit more time on this here, but we'll make it look a bit nicer. But of course, normally in nature, the sky doesn't have a texture like this. The color is pretty uniform. Alright, well, a lot of the sky will be blocked by the clouds anyway, so don't need to worry too much about it. Let's turn on the grid again. Let's decide where we're gonna have some land, some mountains and stuff. So in this case, I'm just gonna broadly paint in some hills and foresty hills. Let's start with the backmost one. So I'm gonna choose a color that is fairly blue, more towards the blue side, although it's gonna be more foresty, and pretty pale. This maybe. Just not quite. Let me actually go ahead and cheat a little. This did not work. For some reason this is really messed up. I cannot really... What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use the obtain screen color function in order to get just a color from my reference pictures. But for some reason it's completely messed up. Oh, there is a different solution. I can just move this over here. Oh, it's also messed up over here. What's going on with this? Never mind then. Well, it doesn't really matter all that much. For now, what I mainly want to do is have some color, and we can readjust it later. So I think overall the sky is a bit too too dark. Let me brighten especially the top up a little bit. The grid makes it a bit hard for me to see the colors and stuff, but I have a preview in the corner, and so I can just look at that in order to see how the composition the colors are. So back to the hills again. Definitely gonna need to adjust those colors. Over here we have maybe some kind of fields. Okay, now let's see. Okay, I can add a bit more saturation. Okay, now now I want to make a decision. Am I gonna continue with the mountains, or the hills better, or am I gonna jump right to the clouds? Maybe let's work a bit on the mountains at first. Currently they look very boring, and we want to change that. And turn the grid off. Alright, I feel like jumping to the clouds now. We are not done with the hills yet, but I just can't wait. So I'm gonna use the grid again, and I'm going to focus mostly on a giant cumulus cloud at the back. It's gonna be our main cloud, and then we're gonna have a few, maybe more at the front and a few more at the back, but like about right here maybe we're gonna have a giant one. Maybe not that giant. Before I start with the details, I'm actually gonna give everything some more layers and try to establish the general composition. Do I want to have something over here? No. Make it here. Oh, why do I have the cloud folder above the hill? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. There we go. Where's the light coming from? Let's say pretty much from the front. Make it very bright, not too many shadows. Meow meow. Where are you going? Leaving us. Sitting down on the floor. Do you like it over there better than this fluffy, soft place? Okay. Oh well. Right over here, hmm? No, kitty, no, no, no. Oh, she's over there. What you doing? What? Hmm? you doing? Hmm? Not for scratching. We're getting crazy now. We're getting crazy. Yum. Okay, let's have a little kitty break, huh? What you doing? Little monster, huh? Ah, wow. Oops. Hmm? What you doing? What's going on with you? Yes? Grab the chair. Also, by the way, if you're confused why I have this thing sticking out of my sofa, it's just for back support. That's it. It's a foldable chair, and I came up with that idea. That's it.
You're kidding me. What is it? Oh, it's crazy, huh?
Boo boo. Ooh. You're a sweetie. No. You leave the camera alone. Come.
Wow. Chaka 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 chaka.
You. I love you too. Come back here. Come back here. Come back here. Come back here. There. You're doing a little tappy tap. She's so happy. Such a happy kitty. Ew. So let's drink some tea. Now it's cleaning time. How dare I? Really cute. No.
Looks so happy. Oh, and now I remembered I wanted to record a time lapse of this drawing, but now I can forget that. If I don't activate it right from the beginning, then... Oh well, so be it. The kitty is gone. Why are you over there? Huh. Oh. I'm back up here. She's climbing up. Getting all crazy again. Your butt. Oh, yeah, yeah. Hmm? Wrap your face all over the chair. And now the sofa, and you're just gonna sit there. Just gonna sit there. Okay. That's an interesting place. Well, if it's comfortable for you. Yeah. Ah, a pauca. There, there. Bite. Come, bite. Why are you biting yourself? Why are you biting yourself, huh? Yeah. Well, she's over there now. She decides to come back down and gamble.
Right. Right. Also, because this is live on stream, I'm not gonna have any idea how long in total this speed painting took me. So I cannot also really make a measurement of that. But it's still a speed paint, regardless. Regardless? Regardless. So for this cloud, I have to have a lot of tiny details, because if I make these puffs, these cloud puffs, too large, I don't know, like if it has smaller details, it's gonna be, the overall cloud is gonna appear even larger and more distance. And you can see me switching back and forth between all of these colors very quickly. I already have them on the cloud, I just need to pick them up, the colors that are right next to me. That's also the point of making these rough sketches at first, so that I have the colors that I already need. Mostly done with this cloud. There isn't too much left. Hey Lucid, how's it going? Glad to see you here. Just finished a not exam. What is a not exam? Like everything that is not an exam. That's a very that's very broad. They pretty much are exams in every way but name. Uh-huh. So you were tested for something. Like you did have a test and you are getting grades, but they're just not they're not just called exams. Okay. That's confusing. They're maybe trying to hide the fact that it's an exam, so I don't know, they wanna be sneaky. But how did it go? I hope it went alright and you can relax now. It was one that won't really affect my grade anyway, so I'm not too fussed about it. Oh, okay. Because it was a rather small exam, or are they just not really counting it? I did an assignment a while back and got an almost perfect mark, so they'll use that as evidence instead. Evidence! Interesting name for for grading your skills. But also, good job for getting an almost perfect mark. That's well done. Scottish education is kind of in shambles at the moment. I'm glad I have that squared off at least. You probably mean because of COVID, which is understandable. Or is it like in general kind of a mess? Like it already was a mess before COVID. I do have to say the education system here in Austria also isn't the best. I mean, it could get way worse if we look at certain countries. But still, there is a lot of room for improvement. Kind of an outdated system that was bound to go wrong at some point. COVID was the tipping point. Okay. So in general, it needs more complete rehaul and more modernization. Yeah. I definitely noticed that the education system is, like most education systems seem to be very slow at adapting to new standards and new technologies. Like even back then when I went to school, internet wasn't that huge of a thing yet, but still it was a pretty good source for looking up facts and information and doing research. But we barely used it at school. And instead of using more modern technologies for presentations and stuff, you had like overhead projectors. And we still watched the movies on tape with like a projector unit, you know, like these large discs with tape wrapped around. We still use those. I mean, for certain subjects, it's alright if in all of these decades that have passed, back all the way back then when these tapes were recorded, the facts about what's in those movies hasn't really changed. We often watch these kind of tapes in biology, for example. And didn't really matter all too much. Most of the education board haven't actually taught at all. Wow. So they're just politicians, I suppose. Or businessmen, or I don't know. I remember we used to have those overhead projectors that you'd use transparent sheets on. So you also still use those. Oh man. and just making plain copies of super old sheets. And those copies were always, like, first of all, black and white. Although the original sheet was often colored, and so it just like it was a mess, and the quality was always terrible. So often at times you weren't even able to see precisely what it was supposed to depict. Ah, man. I don't have too much of an idea of how much has changed. Like, for example, in my school, how they're doing things now. It has been quite a while. But I have a feeling that not too much has changed. As long as the teachers that I had back then are still teaching, probably not too much has changed. And a lot of them were old already back then, but not that old, so they're probably still teaching. I'm doing alright. And how good to... she's on the camera, wonderful. I saw that you're gonna stream later today. I already had the plan of streaming today, but once I saw that you're also gonna stream later, I just hurried up and immediately started streaming because I also don't want to miss your stream. And so you're gonna play some Subnautica, a new DLC of Subnautica. That sounds very exciting. I've seen a little bit from like early access stuff from the DLC, and it seems pretty cool. It's okay. I don't really have a schedule anyway, so who cares? Just I stream whenever I feel like it, and I already felt like it, and so okay, well then why not just start it? Gonna stream now, and then later I'm gonna make myself some food and watch a stream. Perfect plan. Played a little bit during early access. I'm very excited to start it for real. Yeah, it's awesome. Subnautica is also one of those games that I want to try out for myself too. I already watched a couple of people play it, so it wouldn't be really blind for me, but still, seems like a neat game. It's just, you know, there are so many other games. Still playing Pokemon Snap, still trying to find all of them secrets and find all of them Pokemans that I haven't photographed yet. Man, oh man, there's just so much. And after that, I want to start Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, the remake that came out on the Switch, because I'm just in the mood for Pokemon. And then I don't know what I'm gonna play after that. There's also the game that you recommended me. I don't exactly know what this was called, but you said it was very similar to Undertale. One Shot, yes, exactly. That was the title. would like to try that too. And probably stream it. But we'll see. Awesome. Then you can also help me out if I get stuck. I'm maybe pleased to hear that there is no bullet hell in one shot. I didn't mind all too much in Undertale. It actually was a nice change of pace of the usual turn-based combat that you normally have in those kind of games. I actually enjoyed it, but I also know that it's kind of a hit or miss thing for people. I, for example, had friends that just did not like the combat system, and that was the reason why they didn't really enjoy Undertale. So I played it together with them, and they simply played it normally, and whenever a hard fight came up, they just gave the keyboard to me. So we were still able to enjoy the story. And I was doing all the voice acting, of course, because it's just so much fun. At some point I will also probably play Undertale again on stream. Probably not soon, but at some point I would like to replay it again, because I just really enjoy the game, and replaying it is fun.
Papyrus, yes.
I'm pretty frustrated with it, but I stuck through it for the story. Oh. Yeah, it can get also a bit hard, especially for people who are not used to bullet hell stuff. I was not really used to bullet hell stuff, so some fights also took me a while. And then researched all the ending on the web. Yeah. Yeah, I also tried the genocide route at some point because I was curious. And it made me feel miserable, first of all, which is the point. And then, well, I think there's nobody here for whom I could spoiler it, so, yeah. I stopped at Undyne. I stopped there because it got too hard and too frustrating for me, and it wasn't even the hardest fight yet. And so, yeah. Instead, I just watched a Let's Play on YouTube, one without commentary, so I still was able to kind of get invested into it without some people talking over it. And oh boy, that was also an experience. Certainly makes you feel things. Certainly makes you feel things. I didn't do the pacifist or genocide route myself, way too hard. Oh, okay. I already knew about the pacifist route and how to do it when I started Undertale, so I went with that. So then I learned about Undertale actually through Game Crumbs back then when I was still watching them, and Ross and Barry played that game all the way back then. And I watched the first episode, or the first like 1 or 2 episodes, and I stopped watching because I knew I want to play it for myself. And then all the way later I came back to their playthrough after I beat the game, and they were saying that they weren't sure if they want to continue the game because nobody was really watching it. But it turned out nobody was really watching it at the beginning because, like me, everybody was stopping watching the playthrough because they wanted to play it themselves, and then later came back. And they saw that much later, like weeks later or so, and they got way more views. So that was interesting. And it makes sense, it totally makes sense. It's a really interesting game, and all the way back then when it was new, like it took off so quickly. And people were really interested. I also remember, like, when I played it, I just was amazed of how well written and well done the game is, and felt like, man, why can't there be more stuff like that? This is so yeah, Undertale. Even also back then I made some drawing tutorials of Undertale characters. I had Flowey and Papyrus and Sans. And for a while, like all the way back then, they were my best performing videos because like everybody was drawing fan art of those games and wanted to draw these characters and like the alternative universe characters of the game and stuff. Like the art community was so into that game. And especially young people. So a lot of people also watch those videos of mine. At this point, the hype has faded quite a lot, and there is by far not that much art being drawn compared to back then. But it's just, you know, at some point people move on, of course. And therefore also those videos are barely being watched anymore. Undertale fandom is huge. Yeah, definitely. It's not just that the fandom is huge, but Undertale, first of all, it connects very well with young people, and I cannot really explain it, but it's just something about it just made a lot of people want to draw those characters. It just wanted to have more of that Undertale universe. They wanted to get more of it. They weren't satisfied with just that, and I totally understand that. There are also other huge fandoms from all sorts of different games and shows and stuff, but I don't see that much art from those fandoms. Like, I don't know. What's really huge right now? Like, I don't know, Fortnite or Monster Hunter or something like that. You see art from that and that kind of stuff, but you don't see that much in compared to Undertale, although those fandoms are also huge. Five Nights and Fridays, yeah, also huge fandom, but also a lot of art. And I cannot really explain why certain fandoms also bring forth so much art. I mean, it has to do with I guess what is the main audience and the main target audience for those games. It seems like if it's especially targeted at younger people and it's like very emotion inducing, then probably you know, it awakens more people in the art community. I also saw it a lot for Steven Universe. I don't know if you watched that show, but there was also a lot of art of Steven Universe, and like people made their own original characters of this in the Steven Universe universe. And yeah. Just again, like it connected a lot, very strongly with young people. Steven Universe, the main audience is young. There are a lot of emotions in that show, and it just especially connects very well with, I guess, the more artistic people. I don't know. But there's the thing with the first FNAF game, it really looks like a hodgepodge quickly slapped together for a game jam. Yeah, I never played those games myself. I back then watched a few people play it. Like back then when I was like also watching guys like Markiplier. Was curious, and yeah, it's very jump scary for sure, and those characters are very freaky, but there isn't really an emotional story behind it. It's just very okay. I have no idea what kind of story there is. It's like very convoluted from what I know. There are a lot of game theory videos about it, and certainly didn't really watch them because I personally am not really interested. But from what I know is it's like people get really into those kind of secrets and that secret story, and they want to make sense of it, and like I don't know. Like FNAF is very different from Undertale or Steven Universe, but still the art community was so into it. Yeah, I can't really explain. I can't really explain what makes artists enjoy this game. What is it? Wine. You complain because it closed the door to the bedroom, huh? Man, I just don't want you to hide in the bedroom while I'm streaming. That's not okay. I wouldn't say young people were the target audience, at least directly. For FNAF, you mean? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, probably originally they weren't the target audience, but it just turned out that a lot of young people were really into it. Also, I think a lot of young people also, because of the kind of the scariness, it made like not just the scary look of those characters, but also the story behind it makes it I'm trying to okay, gonna get a snack before you start. All right, thank you for dropping by. I will later also join your stream once I'm done with this. So see you later. Alright. Now I'm basically done with the main cloud. I could keep on working on it, but I don't want to overdo it. Yeah. I'm not exactly satisfied with it. It's just, I don't know. But well, let's move on. So those clouds are gonna get a bit less detail, because I don't really care all too much about it. The main cloud is more important. I'm probably also gonna change the colors of those clouds that are further at the back. And made them a bit fainter to establish more depth. So then I'm also gonna drop in a bunch of tinier clouds here and there. I'm gonna be very faint. Don't even have to give them all that much shading. Now those at the front. Just a few. I also finally turned off Cortana. The thing was, I found out that the way I arranged my, it's called rocker ring, the buttons that I have on my tablet that I constantly press in order to switch between shortcuts. The Windows button and S, which I use for switching between a color and transparent, are right next to each other, and Windows key plus S, and not S, I mean C. Let's have the C button. Okay. That button combination calls up Cortana. And I just don't care about Cortana at all. Like, seriously, it's not a feature that I need at all. So I looked it up, and the only way to get rid of it was just simply to uninstall Cortana completely. And you only can really do that with a command that you have typed in PowerShell. So it's also not very obvious, and without a guide that I found online, I would not have figured that out at all. So yeah, it's pretty dumb. But now Cortana is gone. Probably will come back at some point when I do some Windows update, I don't know. But then I will get rid of it again. It's just annoying. I mean, understand why it can be useful. This kind of voice activation stuff can be useful in certain situations, but I just don't care about it, and I just do it from the keyboard and with mouse. And I have so much more control that way. I also don't really care about all that Alexa stuff and so on, also because of privacy reasons. I do not trust that kind of stuff. Unlike Alexa in particular, I do not care about giving Amazon even more money than they already have. Not just money because of the product, but also because they're probably selling information that they gather through Alexa, and that just, no. No thanks. Almost done with the clouds. We still have to take care of the land stuff. And I'm definitely not as trained with making like these kind of foresty patterns. So it's gonna be something. Alright, for the most part this is fine. Yeah. Why is the color picker just not working properly? It's so weird. Oh, there we go. So I'm gonna make the back clouds a bit fainter by overlaying some blue color of the sky itself, the same blue color as the sky. But then also could shift the color a little bit and make it more interesting looking. I'm gonna do the same for this main cloud here, but much less so. Just the front ones can stay the way they are. Then now we're getting to the ground again. Let's see. Okay. I don't know. What should I use for this? Just use a normal, simple brush here because I have no idea how to paint this better. Yeah, this works. If I just insert these kind of dark areas here and there that seem more like little what they're called, like just some gaps in the middle of the forests, and I can work with this pretty well. Some highlights here at the bottom of this gap, and others over here and there. This looks pretty nice. Yeah, actually doesn't look too bad. Alright. Learning and learning. almost done with this layer of the forest, and the later ones, the further ones, those that are further the back, will get less detail, so they will be done even quicker. Certainly I'm not too displeased with these forests, I do have to say. Very glad about that. Right, let's get to the next layer. Alright. And now the last layer, which is very, very faint. Alright. So let's change the colors a little bit more. Gonna shift it a bit further into blue. Saturation could be a bit more actually, yeah. And a bit brighter. This layer here. We're also gonna shift a little bit further into blue. I want to make sure that these layers are very nicely distinguishable. They're not blending too much into each other. But also at the same time, I don't want to make the contrast too harsh. Now these fields at the front here, they are not I want them to be. Let's see if I can improve them with some kind of textured brushes. What the hell? Why is it a pure blue? Okay, never mind. And not have any good textured brushes for this. I don't know. These fields, I just don't know. They look so boring. Let's see if I can maybe make some color adjustments and that would make them look better. Yeah, a little bit less saturation would be maybe good. Give this a little bit of shading. At least attempt to. So what I should do is should have a better sense of distance, and therefore the stripes should get narrower. would make sense to have flowers growing on there. Okay. Yeah, I should get finish. Okay. I changed the colors of the clouds, especially the shadows of the clouds a little bit, because I want to make them blend into the sky a little bit more. And reduce the contrast. Then let's see, it's just round maybe a little bit more. Could reduce the saturation a little bit. Okay, it's barely any difference, but well. Okay, then the vignette effect. Middle would be maybe around here. Close enough. Definitely not the most exciting painting. But that's okay. The main point was to get some practice in. So, with the large cloud, I'm not really that satisfied. It doesn't look fluffy enough. Like when I look at the reference pictures, it has so much more like tiny details, and I definitely did not establish that many. Oh, whoops, I should turn this off at first before I pick out some colors. Yeah, I could still go in and add all of these tiny details all over the place. But it's also not the point. This is a speed painting, or at least supposed to be. Still took me quite a while to finish this. I started at 16, it's over almost 19. Gonna subtract like half an hour or something like that, because setting up, talking, taking a break. Like 30 to 40 minutes I could subtract from it, but still not quite the fastest. Definitely way over 2 hours. And my aim is to be able to make speed paintings in less than 1 hour. But the problem with these clouds is if you spend way less time on them, they're not gonna look all that great. At least I'm not really able to paint them that quickly yet. Anyways. You know what? Let's also add a tiny horse. Mostly just the silhouette of it. I just want to have something more in this. I'm just not satisfied. It's just too boring looking, just like that. But I think if I add a tiny little horse, it adds a bit more to it. Teeny tiny horse. Okay, I'm looking up a picture of a horse. God damn it! I don't know how to paint a horse. How to horse? Reset this. And of course it needs a shadow. Just doesn't float on the field. Tiny horse. Teeny tiny horse. In total it can be a bit bigger. A little bit bigger. A little bit further to back. Actually smaller than again. Okay. I spent way too much time on this tiny horse, oh my god. And it still looks a bit too large. Let's move it further to the front. I don't know, if I have it like here, then it looks too small. Not too large, I mean, compared to the woods. And if I move it just slightly downwards, it looks too small again. I don't freaking know. Let's put it right here. There we go. Just leave it be. I'm done with it. Moving on. Alright. Fuck's sake, dude. I'm always overdoing it. Just can't. Just leave it be. No. I'm gonna leave it dark. Okay, that's it. Zoom in a bit nicer. Alright, I'm not really satisfied with the fields at the front. I don't know. The large cloud is okay, but doesn't have quite the look that I wanted to have. The forests actually turned out much nicer than I anticipated. I thought I'm going to have a lot of troubles with it, but actually I found out a neat way to paint them rather quickly, so that's nice. And it's actually kind of fun. So yeah. Composition wise, I mean, the overall painting is not too exciting, I do have to admit. It looks like a freaking Windows XP screensaver. Yeah. But that's okay. It's just, there is nothing really that sticks out all too much. The large cloud is the most dominant thing, I would say, but still, it's just... Anyways. Alright, let's see. Kitty sleeping. Alright, well, I was planning from the beginning, I'm going to raid Lucid. Okay, so Lucid is playing Subnautica, the new DLC of Subnautica. I'm also very curious about it, and give them all the love. They definitely deserve it. Lucid is a good friend, and so yeah. Alright, that's it from me. Next stream, as always, is gonna be just whenever. Also, I'm gonna start a raid. And yeah, follow me on social media. The raid is oh no, this is just when the raid is gonna be ready. Alright, so follow me on social media to get notified about streams. You can join the Discord and follow me on Twitter. Those are the two best places to get updates. That's it from me. There will be way more clouds. So look forward to that if you like clouds. If not, then too bad. Alright. So then, I'm gonna say bye.